Hi, my name is Lindsay Bast, and this is my reflection on my original self-care video that we made in the beginning of the semester. So in my original video, I know I talked about my self-care plan and routines. My self-care plan looked something like going on bike rides, walks, my Bible study, gardening, taking care of my chickens. I think that, bird watching. Um, I think that was about it. Okay. So, and then I know I talked about that I was going to ask for help when needed and not wait until I was drowning to ask for help. So let's dive in and see how I've done and how I'm doing. Okay, how well was I able to follow my plan? Um, Honestly, at first I was able to follow it really well. Um, and then after a few weeks, it kind of teetered off. So, overall, if I had to say if I followed it very well or not very well, I would say overall, probably not very well. What did I maintain consistently? I consistently tended to my chickens. I consistently did my Bible study, and I consistently tended to my garden as well, because if I did not, then all my plants would die. Struggles. I struggled with going for a walk every day and going on a bike ride every day. And I think a lot of people struggle with that. And even though this is my video, I feel like I can relate to those people because walking and bike riding is exercise. And there's days where I was just exhausted. Excuse me, I'm still exhausted. Adjustments. I didn't really make any adjustments to my plan. I probably should have. For instance, if I was tired and didn't get to go for a bike ride or a walk that day, I should have been intentionally moving my body for 10-15 minutes a day in some sort of way, even though I'm constantly moving all the time because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm in school, I've got animals, I've got kids, got a lot to do. Still, it's good for my mental clarity. Challenges with maintaining, again, being a mom, having others to take care of, and I recently took over bookkeeping role for my father's business. So that kind of threw a wedge in my self-care plan because I didn't have as much free time. So there was that challenge. Strategies to overcome obstacles. I'm a big fan of writing. I like to write down things I have to accomplish, things I have to do. Excuse me. So writing down, it's a life changer. If you have a lot to do, if you can't remember everything you have to do, don't even do a timer or a reminder on your phone. Get a piece of paper, stick it on your fridge, notebook, leave it open, write your day, and then cross it off what you have to do. How did these practices affect my mental health? They're great for my mental health. And then I'll be honest, if I didn't get around to them, I think they affected me in a negative way because then I felt guilty for not following through with my proposed plan. So there was that issue at times. So did it enhance my ability to be present? I would say if I had time to go for a walk or a bike ride or move my body intentionally that day, definitely able to be more present. And that should be encouraging enough to me to make sure that that keeps happening. Lessons I learned from this experience. Self-care is super important. That is what I learned because tracking it over the weeks, I can see how it affects my mental state positively and even negatively if I don't follow through with it. What would I do differently? let's see. I would probably write down maybe times when I should be doing these things, like going for the bike ride or going for a walk. Maybe try and get that done in the morning, and then if I miss it in the morning, maybe go for that walk when my husband gets home from work later in the afternoon. Don't just be like, oh, well, didn't do it today yet, so not going to do it at all. So definitely have a backup plan to the self-care plan, because self-care is super important. So that is something that I learned. And lessons you learned from this experience, how might you modify? Like I said, I would not just give up. Like if I didn't get around to my self-care plan, I wouldn't just give up completely. I would modify the day and fit it into my schedule, or do something else that maybe is good for self-care. Like you know what? I don't want to go for a walk today. I don't want to go for a bike ride, but I need to do something else. Find 10 minutes and brew a cup of tea and just sit on my porch swing, or just lay in the grass and look up at the clouds. Just do something. And last but not least, what would I do differently if I were to create a new self-care plan? To be honest with you, I would probably put a little more personal self-care in that plan. A lot of my original self-care plan involved taking care of others, which I do find joy in, and it does make me happy. But I can't pour from an empty cup. So I would implement more self-care that fills my cup up spiritually, emotionally, mentally, me alone, because I feel like that's super important. Because yes, I am a giving person. I love to do for other people, but then who's doing for me? And that's super important. So yeah, I would implement more self-care regarding me and taking care of me. So yeah, that's all.